welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. I'm Angela, your host. This is episode 100, and I really don't have anything fantastic for episode 100. It is Sunday, August 31st, 2014. It's about 3 p.m. It was sunny out earlier, and now it's getting cloudy, and it got very humid. I think it's going to rain, but yesterday was nice. It was nice and cool, almost fall-like weather. Today it's more like summer again, but whatever, as long as it's not snowing. Updates and housekeeping. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always, and either way, I hope you enjoy and continue to watch the show. If you're on iTunes, if you could please leave a star rating and or review, I would appreciate it. And if you're a member of Ravelry, please come join the Ravelry group and say hi. And now the podcast is also on YouTube and has been for several episodes, so you can also leave comments there. And subscribe if you prefer that platform. It's kind of new. I used to be on Blip, if you haven't watched for a long time, and Blip gave a lot of people the boot. And so instead of Blip, I'm using YouTube. Working some things out, but they seem to be working very well. Week in review. So for work, I am now back on the 3 to 11 shift, which is fantastic as far as scheduling and sleeping. I forgot how busy that shift was. I didn't forget. I knew it was really busy, so I'd been on it before, but I really was spoiled being on the 11 to 7 shift. The other day, so I was supposed to switch Thursday, and that meant that Thursday morning I had worked until 7. And I was supposed to come back at 3 p.m., and that was supposed to be the day that I switched. And I jokingly said to the other two people that were there, because they were working 7 to 3, I jokingly said, if I'm not here at 3, it's because I didn't wake up. And one of my coworkers said, oh, do you want me to work for you today? Because we can do swaps. So when you do a swap, they just work for you, and then you work for them later. You just figure it out on your own. It has nothing to do with payroll. So, like, you still get paid for that day that you were scheduled, but they're working it for you, and later on down the road, you work a day that they would like you to work for them. So, I'm going to work for him this coming Saturday, 7 to 3, which is my day off, which is fine for me. Some people prefer to do doubles so that they get them over with. I don't. I would rather work on one of my days off and just work an extra day. So that was fantastic because I was really tired and I really didn't want to come back at 3 p.m. So he worked for me, so I had the whole day off, and then I stayed up as long as I could so that I took a nap in the afternoon. I woke up at like 10:30 p.m. I got up for several hours and then I went back to bed. So then, I don't even remember what it was, but let's say like maybe 2 or 3 a.m. and then I slept until 9 or 10 or something, and then I got up and went to work at 3. So it worked out fantastically for me. So my first day was Friday, 3 to 11. The weekends are always busier. And after, he actually had texted me and asked me if I could come in early for him. And so I went in at 1 instead of 3, actually, and which was fine since he had worked for me the day before. I was like, sure, absolutely, whatever. So it was just a mess. Normally I would say another word, but I keep this rated G. And there was a really bad car accident, like with somebody trapped in the car. And at the same time, something else happened that was another big call. So all the officers were tied up. I was actually, after 2 hours, getting a tension headache. Like, for real. My head was starting to hurt. So, yeah, that's how that shift is. And I forgot. I did, though. I was able to stop myself and be like, let it go, let it all go, and the headache started to go away. So that worked out fine. But I also forgot on that shift all the annoying crap. Which happens on every shift, but it's way more annoying on this shift. For example, the car accident, all this stuff going on, cops are calling on the radio, 911 is ringing off the hook, the regular phone's ringing off the hook. Now you pick up the regular phone, and I'll have somebody that goes, well, I just have a question about, and I'm like, oh my god, you've already wasted 30 seconds of my time. Like, I don't have time for this, I don't even know what you want yet, you're still wasting my time. And I have zero patience for that in a normal setting. Like, get to your point. I don't need to hear 52 words before you say one word that actually has to do with what you're talking about. Have no patience for that normally. So yeah, I just, we are able at least though to either tell people, you know, oh, gotta put you on hold, 911's ringing, and half the time I'm just like, gotta put you on hold, and I just put them on hold. But, or we can just be like, okay, so what do you need? So what is it you're calling about? We can say stuff like that, so that's good. But yeah, forgot how crazy busy that shift was, and now it's my shift. It's not too bad though. So yeah, revelations. Over that and on to the knitting. I have quite a few things to show you that I'm excited about. So I have the Knitters Guild Association Master Hand Knitters program. I have not been working on that as far as knitting and stuff, but what I have been doing for that is I have this fabulous book that I will review after I'm finished with it, and it's Knitting in Plain English by Maggie Ragetti. I always want to say spaghetti. And I don't even know how to describe it because I'm not quite done with it, but it's just knitting. You could pick it up if you are a brand new knitter. You could pick it up if you're like me and you've been knitting for years, and you're still going to get something from it. It's just like it says, in plain English. It's very conversational. It's very much like you have somebody sitting there with you, and she was a knitting instructor for many, many years, and I think that's the whole purpose of why she wrote this book. So I'm using this for my studying right now for the Master Hand Knitters program, because I think I might find some things that are helpful to me when I'm doing the swatches. I will also know what's in the book so that if later on down the road I have a swatch that I need a reference for, I'll be familiar with the book and I can go back and find it and cite it. Ravello has a sleeve, and I tried it on, and it fits very well. I would have liked it to have a little bit more ease, and maybe after I block it, it will fit the way I want. I did notice, though, a lot of people, if you look at their project pages, if you look at Ravello from the pattern, it has a lot of positive ease. It's like my sweatshirt here. You know, it's got quite a bit of positive ease. But if you look at people's project pages, a lot of them do not. And I don't know why that is or what that is, because I'm pretty sure I have gauge or very, very close to gauge, and I actually made a size bigger than what I am. It does have enough ease to be comfortable, but it doesn't, I wanted it a little bit more baggy. So, this is Ravello so far. And as you can see, I have one whole sleeve done. And I'm ready to start the other sleeve. I just took a break from it for a little while. I don't want to wait too long though. I do always make notes on my pattern, so I can make the other sleeve exactly the same. But I don't want to wait too long because then I'll forget what I was doing. And I took a break from that because I finished my socks. So I was doing 2 Socks in One by Kate Atherley for the seasonal Sock Syndrome knit along, which I don't qualify for prizes, so it really doesn't matter when I finish the socks. And I finished them, and I'm so excited. I'm mostly excited because when I pulled them apart, they actually came apart, which means that I did not knit them together. So these are my socks, and they came out very good, and they fit quite nicely. One does seem a little bit more snug than the other, which I was a little concerned about because there's one sock inside of another, so I'm purling the outside sock and knitting the inside sock, and I do have different tension when I do that. And it's not terribly bad though, and I think once I wash them, if I put them back on the sock blockers, maybe they'll even out. They do need to be washed and blocked because you can see ladders from the needles, but other than that, they're fine. And I thought I had enough left to make another pair of socks, but I was like, it's probably close, but you probably don't really. I do. There's 50 grams left, so there are actually enough to make another pair of socks. So I don't know what I'll do with that. I did want to do the down the rabbit hole one, and I think these would look good in that because it looks like it wouldn't be great for a really variegated, but this is not. As you can see, these aren't quite striping, but they're close, so I think that would look good. I'm not sure though if those are top down. I didn't look yet, but I might be concerned that I would run out of yarn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I did want to do another sock. I did get these needles from Webb's when they had a sale. The Blackthorn double points. I probably should have read reviews before I bought them, but they were on wicked sale though, because they usually go for 30 and they were 10. A lot of people complained about them. They're the carbon fiber. Now, Nurse Pride Carbons has metal tips on them. These do not. These are just the carbon fiber, and that's what people complained about, that the carbon fiber kind of hung up on itself and was textured, and a lot of people said it made this horrible noise. I haven't knit with them yet, so I'm not familiar with this noise, but we'll see what happens with it, and I'll let you know. Let's see. String theory. I still have the Manos Extra Fine Merino and the Roadbug, and this is all I've left for the second bobbin, so that should be done quite soon. And then I have to do the third bobbin, and then I will 3-ply them. On the supported spindles, I'm still practicing. There's not much going on there. I do have one that I think I'm going to put on hold for a little while until I get more familiar with other ones. I have this is Mirkwood, and they're all based on Lord of the Rings characters, and this one is Gimli, and I got this one in a D-stash. And they're gorgeous spindles. They have crystals embedded in the tip, and they have a ball bearing for the spinning tip. But it is quite different from the tips that are very, very pointed. As you can see, I can get it to spin, but it's a little difficult and I'm not really familiar with it. So I need to practice with that a lot more before I'm comfortable with it. But that's all I've been doing with supported spindles recently. Let's see. I did finish on my Threads Through Time spindle the ply on the fly I was practicing, and I got 1.53 ounces, which I'm guessing is the max for fitting on the spindle, because that's the max I've gotten on it in the past. And it's Into the World fiber, which I'm okay with. It's not, it didn't quite come out as I expected when I split up the colorway. It's a little different. Probably look a lot better knit up than it does. It looked fantastic on the cob, on the spindle. In a skein, it's not so attractive looking, but it came out fine, and I really mastered that technique doing this, because the beginning of this is not very nice. The end of it is really, really nice. So I at least got a lot of practice out of that. And scrolls, I have no book reviews for this episode, but like I said, once I finish that Knitting in Plain English book, I will definitely review that, because it seems to be an excellent book. For Testaments, I don't have any new products to review, but we did have the giveaway for the Red Barn yarn. So I had 7 people PM me about that yarn. So I have random.org here, and I have 1 through 7, and I will click generate, and it's number 6. And number 6 is username Angry Meerkat on Ravelry. So I will PM you and let you know that you won, and we'll get that yarn to you. For Heresy, I now have 5 new designs in mind going. None of them have been started yet. I have yarn for them. 3 of them I purchased yarn for, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the stash I have. But one of them required something like this, which I do not have stash of. This is worsted weight, right? I don't even remember anymore. That's pretty sad. I believe this is worsted weight. Really? Yeah, size 8 needles. I don't have a huge stash of worsted weight, nor do I have colors like this in my stash, but the idea I had in mind required something like this, so I purchased that. So I have 2 shawls, 1 long cowl, and 2 fingerless mitt type things that I'm going to be designing soon. I hope to have them all done by the end of the year, but we'll see. Once I start knitting on them, I probably won't show the actual item, but I'll show you the yarn, because there's a few that you haven't seen the yarn before. Seasonal Sock Syndrome knit along. Current session ends September 21st, which is 20-something days from now. So make sure and you get your socks in. I think I looked this morning and there were like 24 entries, I think, so far for this session. So we have wonderful prizes for that sock knit along, and there will be 2 more. opportunities for you to enter, because we're going to do fall and winter. Right now we're still in summer until September. And I have some, allergies, Ravelry patterns for you today. Sorry if I'm talking real fast, but I'm really trying to get this one under half an hour because we went out shopping today and I have food to make for the week and lots of other things to do, and I would like this to be under half an hour so it renders within a reasonable amount of time, etc. Alright, so I have Graphite by Sarah Cook, and it's about $6.81 US. The original's in British. It calls for an Aran weight yarn, and I really like this sweater a lot. I really think I will make it at some point. I just love it. I love the textured stitch. I love the fit. I love how the sleeves are extra long. Really my type of sweater. So that is Graphite. And it looks fantastic in that gray too. This would be a nice yarn to make that. Although that yarn was quite expensive, so I don't think I'd make a sweater out of it. But then I have Red Katana by Svetlana Volkova, and it's a nice shawlette kind of a thing, but it's got this really cool color work technique. So like you can see on one side there's more red than gray, and vice versa on the other side, and it looks like a very interesting construction. And that one is $6 US, and the sample was knit in, here's a good picture of the color if my tablet does what I ask it to, which it usually doesn't. Hello? Oh my god. Really? Because we all have time to sit here and watch me push buttons that do nothing. Let me try it this way. There we go. This one really shows off how those colors go. And that one, technical difficulties today, and it's getting very hot in here. Calls for Malabrigo yarn Arroyo, which is sport weight. I'm sure you could do it in fingering weight. You just have to adjust your needles. Okay, and then I have no idea how to pronounce this one. Penny Gent by William Nelson. And it's this gorgeous beaded shawl. It's got a lot of beads, and it looks like a very simple lace, all over lace pattern, but with the beads it looks really, really lovely. There it is there. Let me see if there's a close-up. It keeps flipping when I turn it over, and I just closed the window. Serious issues today. This one's kind of close up. And the buttons aren't working. There we go. That is close up. So that's what, there's like a bead inside every lace repeat there. Alright, so those are your Ravelry patterns for today. And let's see what else we have. Reading. I finished Getting Old Is to Die For. That's one of the cozy mysteries I like, and they're by Rita Lakin, and that was number 4 in that series. I'm not sure how many there are, but there are quite a few. There are several. And I think I said in the last episode I finished Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. That was an audiobook. So once I finished on the Kindle Getting Old, I started Allegiant, which is the third in the trilogy, the Divergent series by Veronica Roth, and that one's going very well. The difference is the 2 first books were from the point of view of the girl main character. This book, every other chapter is a different character. So far there's only 2. So like 1, 3, and 5 are the girl, 2, 4, and 6 are the guy. I'm getting over it now, but initially I was like, what? And I was like, oh yeah, that's him. Then I'd be like, what? Oh wait, that's her again. So, because it flips back and forth and back and forth. For TV, now that I'm not on the 11 to 7 shift anymore, I'm probably not going to be as up to date on TV as I was. So the other day when I was off, I did a Defiance marathon because Defiance is back on. I think there's like 10 or 11 episodes now, and I had only watched the first one. So I'm caught up to date on Defiance. Dominion, I believe I'm up to date on. I was slowly keeping up to date on that one. Under the Dome, I believe I'm up to date on as well. Probably not for this week. Anything for this week, last week, it's Sunday, I'm probably not up to date on, but most of them I am. Extant is excellent, and I'm caught up from that as of yesterday. I watched 3 episodes, I think, and I'm really liking that one a lot. It's very different and very interesting. Sons of Anarchy, I'm now on my own for, so I can watch that whenever I want. I was watching that with a coworker at work on the 11 to 7 shift. Since I'm no longer on that shift, we have agreed that we can now watch it on our own. Doctor Who is back on. I don't think I recorded since then because there's only been 2 episodes. So the first one was awesome. I love how they actually have the characters say what you're thinking. So they'll mention the fact that he's a new doctor, we're not sure if we like him yet, and say things like that, which is what you're thinking as a fan, and they really, I'm glad that they acknowledge that fact, and they always do that when they switch over doctors. They do it when they end with a doctor, how they're upset, and they don't want him to go, and this, that, and the other one. David Tennant actually made me cry when he left. And when they start with a new one, they always acknowledge what people are feeling through the other characters. So I really enjoyed that. And the second episode was last night, and that was very, very good. I am liking the new Doctor. Again, nobody will ever be David Tennant, but I did like Matt Smith, and I do like this. What is his first name? Peter Capaldi? I hope his first name's Peter. And that's it, I think. So I just whizzed through this episode. I'm sorry if it's super fast, but I'm really trying to get a lot of things done today, and I have to work tomorrow, so this is the time that I have. So, I'm hoping to start working on those things that I'm designing. I do want to start spinning some more things. As of right now, most of my Turkish spindles are empty, and I just need to pick. I've been thinking, and I just can't decide on what fiber I want to spin next, so have not started anything yet. I have not wound any yarn for the things I'm designing, and I need to do that. I still have the Malabrigo over here for a beaded shawl that I was thinking of. I have another skein of yarn for a different shawl, and I have this for one of the fingerless mitts. And I also, now that Ravello's almost done, there are a couple of sweater patterns in my queue that I want to knit, but I really want to finish. I have the February lady sweater and that snuggly turtleneck that I had started previously that I would like to finish before I start another sweater project. And what else is going on? Reading is going well, TV is excellent, work is fine. It's almost fall. I get very energized and very, as you can see, I'm designing 5 things right now, but fall is really my time when I'm very energized and very into things and doing things. It's also, it makes me a little antsy sometimes too, because yeah, like I want to finish all the things, I want to spin all the things, I want to do all the things, and there's only so many hours in a day. So, I hope you are enjoying the weather. I hope if you have children and they are back in school, you are happy about that. Maybe you have some free time. And I think that's it for this episode. So I thank you for joining me. Again, I hope I didn't just talk super, super, super fast. Do you remember, if you're my age, you remember that. It was the Matchbox Cars guy. Could speak really, 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 really fast. That's what I feel like right now. But, yeah. So I think that's all I wanted to mention. I always shut the camera off and then go, oh yeah, that. But typically I'll put it on my show notes for the next episode. But that's it. So thank you for joining me. Happy knitting and spinning.